My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Anna and I run an online finishing school called School of Affluence, where I teach women about high society and how to become a lady. In today's video, well, actually, ladies, this is a series in 3 parts. I really want to go in depth with you when it comes to coats for fall and winter. There are some key pointers that I do want you to take into account whenever you are there shopping or just going through the things in your wardrobe. Now, when it comes to elegant coats, I do want to point out that there is a reason to why I'm making a video, or wait a second, I'm making a series about elegant coats only. Why are they so important? It's because coats in general are probably the most elegant outerwear one could wear during fall and winter. Because what type of outerwear do you have if you remove the coat? Well, not many. You have the kind of casual jacket, and that's not really the most elegant. Although I'm not gonna say you shouldn't wear, because I definitely think everybody needs to have a good winter jacket, that's for sure. We don't want to get sick and get cold this season. But if you really want to practice elegance during this very difficult time of the year, and I know because I am from Sweden, and unfortunately the colder it gets, the harder it is to stay elegant. That's why I want you to focus on elegant coats, because it's really going to save you this winter if you really want to practice elegance. Another thing that I want you to really understand when it comes to coats is that there are different coats for different occasions, and there are different coats for different types of people. So you do have to scrutinize yourself a little bit in detail. In my online finishing school, schoolofaffluence.com, you can enroll if you want to study elegance and fashion and transformation more in depth. There I really coach my students with more detailed tuition, where I really guide them in terms of what should they wear and how to really live up to this personal brand of being a woman of high society. So this is what I mean, what you really have to take into account. What occasion are you buying this coat for? Is this going to be just a simple everyday daytime coat, or are you purchasing a coat more for evening wear, for when you're going out? You can find coats that work for both day and night, but if you really want to be on brand and really kind of elevate your look, then it's really good to have options, and especially have specific coats for specific occasions. I see a lot of beginner mistakes when ladies wear very casual coats or jackets at night with fabulous dresses, and that usually just ruins their outfit completely. Try and budget for a daytime coat that you can wear every day, 7 days a week, for casual affairs or more laid-back occasions, and then you have one evening coat that you can wear in the evening. I would recommend you to start off by buying the casual coat, because you will probably wear it more often than the evening coat. However, if you are somebody who are leveling up, you probably know the value of networking and being out socializing. So that will require you to have your army of tools that will help your branding be on point. But we talk more about that in my finishing school. So remember, I said there are many variations to coats. Should you go for a fitted coat, or should you go for a loose coat? And this boils down to different types of elements. Number 1, what is your body shape? If you're, for example, apple-shaped, then it's very important for you not to wear any fitted clothes and maybe have more of a looser approach to your clothing, especially around the midsection. If you are somebody who have a more casual, a laid-back style, then maybe wearing a fitted coat won't make sense and be aligned with your personal style. And then we have the occasion. Usually a fitted coat is more formal, whilst a loose coat is more casual. I would really recommend majority of you to buy a fitted coat first. The reason for that is it's more appreciated with men. If your figure allows it, they prefer seeing the figure rather than something that is a little bit more bulkier. It also looks a little bit more tailor-made and a little bit more sleek, which kind of gives you a little bit more of an expensive approach. However, this doesn't mean that loose coats are bad. You can definitely pull off a beautiful loose coat that come across as more contemporary, modern, hip, and stylish. Now ladies, if you still haven't downloaded my free cheat sheet where I go over in detail exactly what it is that makes an outfit look more expensive and what are the actual hacks that will elevate your look regardless of budget, visit classycheatsheet.com and download your free cheat sheet today. So after we have decided the fit and style of the coat, it's really time to think about the length of the coat. We have 3 lengths of coats. We have the shorter version that usually finishes just below the bottom of the person. We also have the mid-length, which I think is probably the most popular one and a good one to start with. And then we also have the longer one. Now, there are pros and cons to all of these 3. I personally wouldn't necessarily recommend buying the shorter version because that one tends to be a little bit more casual. It doesn't work for evening attire. It's something that you can wear for maybe daytime occasions only. And the whole purpose of a coat is that it's a little bit more covering and it looks a little bit more elegant as a result. The long version is a really good one, and I definitely think it should be on the priority list when you are shopping. It might not necessarily be the top priority, but somewhere in the top 3 definitely, because the long one, that's the perfect coat to wear at night when you are wearing a dress. For instance, if you're wearing a long gown, you want to cover yourself up with a long coat. You don't want to have a coat that is much shorter than your dress. So if you're somebody wearing longer dresses, definitely you have to have a longer coat. But even if you're not wearing a long dress, when you're wearing trousers, having a long coat just makes it look very sophisticated, very chic, and I don't know, it just makes you look a little bit more high fashion. Now, the mid-length coat is a very good starter pack type of coat because really it's in between and it can cater for all types of occasion. Daytime, evening, it works fine. So if you are on a tight budget, go for the medium long one because it's going to serve you in all kinds of aspects, and I think it's a safe bet. Now, next in line is the thickness of the coat. And here we really need to take into account weather conditions, time of the year, occasion, and am I going to freeze to death or not? You really need to define your usage of this coat. You know, there are thin coats like the trench coat or like more cardigan coats, or you have the proper thick coat. Those are usually like cashmere coats, wool coats, very heavy coats, but they're oftentimes very costly as well. Now is the time to figure out, are we going to have a belted coat or without belt? Right now, there is a trend of having kind of the cashmere type of wrap coats, which means it will have a belt. And I really think that this is a very good piece to own. Probably makes more sense to buy this first because it really is flattering for most women. However, you can also do without a belt, and usually those tend to be more kind of laid back, more loose fit type of coats. And again, you have to think about what is your occasion, what is your purpose with the coat? Will it fit into that purpose and occasion? Now lastly, what about the buttons? Now you can have double-breasted or you can have single button. I personally prefer single button. I just think that it looks a little bit more elegant. But the only problem with single button is that unfortunately you're not as protected for cold as in with a double button one. So again, if you're here trying to dress for tough, harsh climates, then yes, go for the double one. But if you're purchasing it to look a bit more chic and you're not in a very cold environment, then definitely go for single one. Do you see what I mean when it comes to you have different options and you really have to strategize accordingly? What are your needs? What works best for you? What is the occasion and so on? But lastly, what it really boils down to, ladies, is that we actually need a lot of different variations of coats in order to feel sufficient that we have everything we need. But I do want you to think about your purchases and shop less, but make more clever purchases. Be more strategical. Buy things that will actually last you, that look well, that you can feel proud of wearing, not something that you're going to throw in the bin and pollute the planet. I want you to start purchasing things that are really going to last you a lifetime. So even if that means that this transformation will take time, be patient. Patience is key when you are leveling up, and if you are a student of mine from my online finishing school, you probably know that everything is investment. No matter what we plan today, ladies, we will be reaping it in the future. But the rewards only come to those ladies who are patient and one step at a time, and you'll get there. This was the first video in my Elegant Coat special. You must subscribe to my channel if you want to watch the remaining ones so that you get notified when they come out. And if you still haven't watched my previous videos on elegant fashion, then make sure you watch them now, because there's loads of free content there just waiting for you. So I will see you in that video.